Hello, today we're going to be doing a Zentangle bookmark. I'm going to divide this video up into two parts because it does take a little bit of time and I want to kind of just break it up. So we're just going to do the first two today. So what you're going to need is some paper, cardstock or cardboard, a ruler, something to cut with. Scissors are fine. I'm going to use my straight edge. And last but not least, something to write with. And I'm going to use a Sharpie today so you can see it. But if you want to start out with a pencil, that would probably be a good idea. And then you can go over with a marker or pen. Alright, so let's get started. So the average width of a bookmark is roughly 2 inches to 2.5 inches. I have about 2.5 on this one, just because I wanted a little bit more room to draw. And then it really depends how long you want it, anywhere from 4 to about 8 inches. This is about 8 inches, if I had to guess. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and get my straight edge ready. I'm going to eyeball 2 inches. Make sure it's on there good. Alright, and then I have my paper to start. Alright, we're going to start with the first two panels today. And since this is about 8 inches, we're going to make sure that each panel is about 2 inches wide. I'm going to make a mark at each point here so I know where to section this off. Alright, and again, pencil's fine to start. You can always cover it with a marker. I'm just getting this started, making sure my lines are straight. Alright. So, the first one, we're going to start by drawing a curved line from top to bottom. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to make another curved line underneath it, trying to keep the width about the same. And then I'm going to go the other direction. I'm going to make another curved line from corner to corner. Then I'm going to follow, and I'm just kind of starting to make them into boxes. And just kind of make sure. So it doesn't matter how many you have, it just matters that they're curved and they're going in the same direction. The next step is we're going to go curved lines from the corner of a square down to about the middle, corner to middle, and we're going to do that for each box. And if, like this part right here doesn't have a corner that's visible, I'm pretending it's off the page, I'm going to just kind of pretend like I see it. So, corner, curve down to the middle, corner, curve down to the middle, and you're going to keep repeating. Zentangles are just repeating lines. It's actually really relaxing because you kind of just follow a few rules and you get this really cool pattern that looks pretty complicated, but it really isn't. So just curving, and they don't have to be perfect, especially if this is your first time. Don't get hung up on the details. So oops, and pretending like that's coming off the page. So now I have this fairly intricate pattern, And so what I'm going to do now is in between these curved lines, it's like a little triangle you see in the middle, we're going to fill that in. And we're just going to keep doing that. So I just finished coloring in all the triangle spaces in between these shapes that we created. So it took a little while, so I didn't bother leaving the video running while I did it. The next step is I'm creating a pattern with some dots. I'm kind of following the curved edges on each one to create some interest. You don't have to do this. You can do lines. You can do any kind of pattern. You just want to keep it uniform and repeat. And I just messed up a tiny bit. That's okay. So once you have a little bit of a repeating pattern, it looks a lot more complicated than it actually was. All right, let's go on to the next one. Next one is we're going to start with more curved lines. We're going to go from corner to corner. So I kind of went in the opposite direction a little bit there, but that's okay. I'm not going to I'm not worried about it being exactly like the first one I did. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with a curved line that way, and then I'm going to, from corner to corner, I'm going to use the same two corners, and I'm going to put another curved line that way, so they're bending in the opposite directions. And so the rule for this one is that if it's on this side, it's going to curve with like this line here, and if it's over on this side, it curves like this line here. So I'm curving. And because we're curving these lines, it's going to kind of create like a convex shape, like it's actually kind of like poofing out at you. But as it's just an optical illusion. Okay, so and then the next step, we had rules that the lines were going in opposite directions. It's going to be the same way with these shorter curves. I'm going to start with a short curve, curving down. I'm going to fill this in with curves, and then on top, when it goes towards this direction, they're all going to go this way. So, and then again, we repeat the pattern. They don't have, the lines do not have to line up. Actually, it looks better if they're a little bit staggered. So curve down if it's like past this imaginary line, curve up after. And if you want it to be really interesting looking, what we can do is I'm going to curve up, or curve down, excuse me. When you get closer to the edges, if the lines get smaller, it looks like it's getting tighter. So I'm going to go really closer together on the ends, and you're going to see it's so wide in the middle, and then now I'm going to try to go smaller, 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 and it's going to kind of create this like almost stretched out look. And it's relaxing because you kind of set like some small rules, easy to follow rules, and then these lines create these optical illusions. So those were the two for this week. On our next class, we're going to do the last two. They're a little bit more in depth, I guess. There's a little bit more focus that needs to be had for these two.